Wonderful. Well, welcome everybody. My name's Shauna, if I haven't had a chance to meet you, but I think I've met everybody. We are going to get started lying on our backs today. However, if there is another position that you like to open your practice with, please go ahead and give yourself permission to do that. Otherwise, we're going to get started on our backs. If you want to use a playlist, you can go ahead and hit play, and then go ahead and just settle in for your practice. And as you settle in, just start to notice your breath without necessarily trying to change anything. Just notice the quality, maybe the temperature, its natural rhythm and flow. And then as you're ready, start to take a scan of the body. Notice what parts of the body are making connection with your mat, being supported by the earth. And as you move from your head to your toes, start to notice what places of the body feel good this morning. Oftentimes we focus on what might be holding more tension, trying to actively relax in. Maybe instead of looking for the areas that need to change, look for the areas that already feel good this morning. And now start to bring your awareness into the part of the body that feels the best to you this morning. Maybe that's the fact that your shoulders are away from your ears, maybe for the first time all week. Maybe you start to notice you have a nice expansive breath here this morning. Maybe like your right big toe is just like really feeling good this morning, and just allow your awareness to settle in whatever part of the body feels good. And as you rest your attention here, start to bring that breath in to this feel good spot. And as you breathe in, fill that spot with good breath. And as you exhale, imagine that this feel good sensation starts to radiate out towards the rest of the body. Continuing this nice smooth inhale. And this expansion of your exhale. And now start to find a breath that you can maintain throughout your practice. In whatever way that looks. So maybe that's a little bit of a longer exhale. Maybe that's your ujjayi breath, creating a light constriction in the back of the throat, as if you were fogging up a mirror. But wherever you are, just see if you can find a breath that feels good to you, that can just settle kind of in the back of your awareness, this anchor that we can always return to, that's ever present. If you wish to set an intention for your practice, you can do so now. And as you do, on your inhale, allow this intention to really fill you up. And as you exhale, let it surround you as we start our practice. If your eyes are closed, you can start to flutter them open as you start to hug your right knee in towards your chest, maybe wrapping your hands around the outside of your knee. Give it a nice little squeeze, and then just start to find any motion that feels good to start opening up that right hip. So maybe you find circles, maybe you open and close the hip a little bit. Maybe you hug it in towards your shoulder and then back towards the midline of the chest. Just start to find any sort of movement Again, that feels good to you to start just waking up that right hip and the right side of the body. And then as you're ready, hug that knee in towards your chest. Extend your right arm out towards the side and let your right knee fall over towards the left, finding a really gentle twist. And maybe you have your gaze goes towards your right knee. And just allow yourself to feel the opening through the front of the shoulder, the pectoral muscle. Maybe both the knee and the shoulder are floating off and away from the mat. Take another deep breath in. And on your exhale, start to return back to center. Hug that right knee in one more time and then let the left knee join you, hugging it in towards your chest. Maybe you start to notice there's already a difference between the right knee and the left knee, or the right hip and the left hip. Curl your head up, bringing your forehead to your knees, coming into a tight little ball. Bring both hands over towards the left knee. Let the right leg extend out long, hugging that knee in towards your chest. Pausing here for a moment, and then as you're ready, start to find any movement. Again, maybe you open and close the hip. Maybe you roll the ankle, find circles with the knee, one direction and then the other. Finding any movement that feels good, starting to wake up that left side just like we woke up the right side. Again, start to notice what feels good, maybe more so than what feels sticky, being gentle with ourselves as it's still just the morning. And then as you're ready, start to extend your left arm out towards the left and let your left knee drop over towards the right. Maybe your gaze follows towards the left knee, finding this nice gentle twist. Bring awareness into that left shoulder. Notice how it's starting to open, feeling this nice stretch through the pectoral muscles, through the rib cage, twist through the spine. Take one more deep breath in. And on your exhale, start to return back to center, hugging that left knee in towards your chest once again. Start to draw that right knee in, giving both a squeeze. Again, notice the difference now that we've evened out the two sides. Start to roll your forehead up towards your knees, giving a nice squeeze, coming into a nice little ball. Bring both hands to the outside of the right knee and let the left leg extend out long, but maybe this time you float that leg off the mat. You can always release down, pull that lower belly in, drop your shoulders down away from the ears, and then we're just gonna find some scissoring. So start to hug the left knee in as you extend the right leg long, and then just continue to switch. See if you can match your breath towards your movement, moving nice and slow. See if you can keep that core nice and activated, that low belly pressing down into the mat, shoulders down away from ears, gazes up and maybe towards where the ceiling and a wall meet. Just continuing to move back and forth. One more round. Once your left leg is in towards your chest, roll up, squeezing both legs in towards your chest. Release your head back down. Press your knees away from your chest, so bringing into a 90-degree angle. So we have our knees over our hips, heels are right behind our knees. Bring both hands out towards a T, and then let your both knees drop over towards the left, finding this little bit of a deeper twist here. Again, we're still being very mindful of warming up the spine. And then from here, you're going to actually roll over on towards your left side. So maybe you start to bring your left hand underneath your head, lifting up just a little bit. Knees are still right out in front of your hips. We're flexing our toes back towards our shins, and then float that top knee up, bringing about hip distance away from the bottom. And then we're gonna be making circles as if we were riding a bike. So start to draw a circle with that top knee, pulling it into the chest and extending it away, just like as if we were riding a bicycle. Continue to pull that core in nice and tight, bringing that low belly in towards the spine, keeping that nice flexion in the foot, just warming up the glutes here. You can move as fast or as slow as feels good for you. Just make it a very mindful movement, maybe dropping into that top leg. Wherever you are, go ahead and switch directions. Maybe you start to ride your bicycle backwards. Feel the firing up of the glute, the activation of the leg muscles. Notice if you've lost your breath here, continue to try and connect your breath into your movements. The next time your knee is over the opposite knee, hover here for just a moment. Release that top knee on to the bottom, and then come back to your twist for just a moment. Take a deep breath in, and then on your exhale, lift your knees coming back to center. Take a breath in here, and on your exhale, twist over to the opposite side, letting both knees fall off towards the right. Pause here for just a moment in this spinal twist in the opposite direction. Take a nice deep breath in, deep breath out, and then start to roll over onto your right side. So bringing your left arm over towards your right. Start to bring your right hand underneath your head just for some stability, and then drop your knees down again so they're in line with your hip. And then you're going to float that top leg off, bringing it about hip distance apart. Flex your toes, keeping nice active feet. Your hand can be placed right in front for some stability, and then just start to ride your bicycle. So again, making circles with your knee or your heel. Pull that low belly in towards your spine. So we want to keep nice activation in the core as we continue to warm up the body. Maybe you start to bring your awareness to your glutes, feeling that fire up, starting to create some heat. And then wherever you are, switch directions, starting to ride your bicycle back. Maybe noticing how it feels different when we move forward versus backwards. What muscles are activated that might feel a little bit different. The next time that top knee is over that bottom knee, pause here for just a moment. And then release the knees on top of each other. Start to come back to your spinal twist, pausing here for just a moment. Take a deep breath in. And on your exhale, come back to center, bringing your hips over, your knees over your hips. Wrap your arms around your shins, pull your knees into your chest, round up like a little ball. Once again, really starting to work into those internal organs. And then start to release your head back down. Start to extend your right leg up towards the sky. Left foot can plant on the ground, can extend out being on your mat, or you can float it up depending upon what you want for this one. We're just going to wrap our hands around the back of our right leg. And then again, just start to find any movement, starting to work into the hamstrings, the whole back of the right leg. Continue to let the shoulders drop away from the ears. Being nice and gentle here. Maybe you start to open and close. Bring it closer to your face and farther away. Wherever you are, start to find some stillness with your leg extended. Flex your toes back to your shins once again. And then see if you can straighten your leg. So maybe that means it falls away from you a little bit. Start to bring like a C to your hands and then just cup them around your pelvis. So what we're doing is we're trying to keep our pelvis nice and stable. And then what we're going to do is take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, drop your right foot over towards the right, but see if you can keep both hip points grounded in towards the mat. And then lift back up, coming to center. And then continue to open and close that right leg. Moving breath with movement. Again, we're just trying to work into the hip flexors, starting to warm up the quads. So really starting to find a really active bottom part of the body here. And it's not about how far down your leg can go, but how much activation we can get in those hip abductors, hip flexors. Find one more round, dropping out towards the right. And then lifting back up. Bring a bend into your knees and maybe squeeze it in towards your chest. Start to extend that left leg up towards the sky. Again, options, bringing the right sole of the foot down towards the mat. You can extend it out long, grounding it into the mat, or you can float it up, whatever feels good. You're going to start to wrap your hands anywhere around the left leg, finding some extension through the hamstrings, flexing those toes back towards the shins, and then find any movement that feels good here. Noticing maybe the difference between the right and the left. And then honoring what this side of the body needs. Remembering that the two sides of the body are not the same, our hamstrings might not be the same. Also remembering it's the morning and it's okay if these are a little tight. And then once again, start to extend your leg up towards the sky and then see if you can straighten that leg. So maybe that means the leg goes away from the chest a little bit. Bring the C's back into your hands and then bring them down into your pelvis, finding a nice squaring of the hips, nice neutral pelvis. Drop the shoulders away from the ears, take a nice deep breath in, pull that lower belly in. And on your exhale, let your left leg fall out towards the left. Inhale, we bring it back to center. Exhale, we drop it back out. And continue this movement. Again, we're trying to just work the abductors, abducting, adducting as we come in and out. Our quads are nice and active here. And maybe you just notice what other muscle groups are having to be active to make this movement happen. Continuing to ground down through the right side of the body in whatever shape that looks like. Find one more opening up to the side and then bringing it back up. Hug that knee in towards your chest. Give it a squeeze. Let the right knee hug in, meeting it. Once again, curl up into a little bit of a ball and then start to rock and roll up and down the length of your spine. And then whenever you're ready, we're going to meet in a tabletop. So in whatever way that you want to get there, in whatever way that feels good to you, maybe you roll over your hands and your knees, maybe you swing your legs out towards the side, but wherever you are, find your tabletop. And then we're going to move through some cat and cow. So on your inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze, finding cow pose. Exhale, start to round your back, pull the belly in towards the spine, drop the chin to the chest for cat. Inhale, cow pose, dropping the belly, broadening across the shoulders and the collarbones. Exhale, cat pose, really round the back, pressing the mat away. One more, inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Coming back to that neutral tabletop position, hands are stacked underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, spreading those fingers nice and wide. Start to float your right knee out towards the side. So I'm going to move so you guys can see me. Again, getting into the obliques and the abductors. Start to kick your right leg straight out towards the side. Drop the toe down to tap the mat or the ground. Lift back up. Close the knee. Drop the knee back down towards the mat. We're going to do that twice more. Lift the knee up towards the side, kind of like a fire hydrant. Kick it out towards the right. Tap the toe down. Lift it back up. Bend the knee. Drop it back to the starting point. Once more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, tap. Exhale, lift. Inhale, bend. Exhale, release down towards the mat. Tuck your toes, lift your hips high, coming into your first down dog. So maybe pedal it out here, finding just a little bit of movement or stillness. Maybe you start to sway from side to side. On your inhale, put a bend in your knees and your gaze towards your hands and slowly make a walk towards the top of your mat, finding ragdoll pose when you arrive. Feet underneath hips, grab our opposite elbows and let your head hang really heavy. So maybe you have a nice bend in your knees, really letting your chest drape over your thighs. And then find what feels good. Is it stillness that feels good? Is it movement that feels good? Small movement, big movement, swaying movement. Just noticing what feels good in your body here. Start to release your fingertips down towards the mat. And your inhale, find a halfway lift. So draw your chest forward. Pull your shoulder blades together. Fingers can be on the mat. Maybe they're on your shins. Extending the crown of the head forward. Gaze stays down. Exhale, release down. Fingertips to the mat. Forward fold. Inhale, sweep your arms high. Finding Tadasana. Really reach up. Feel your lungs expand and lift away from your hips. Exhale, dive forward, finding a forward fold once again. Inhale, find that halfway lift. Draw your chest forward. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank pose. Press your heels back, draw your shoulders forward, expanding across the collarbones. Take a deep breath in. and a deep breath out. Inhale, drop your knees to the mat, and as you exhale, lower all the way down, bringing your chest and belly towards the ground. And then for your cobra, we're gonna mix it up. So you're gonna start to bring your arms out wider than your shoulders. Take an exhale, letting everything go, and on your inhale, lift your chest up, only what feels good here. And then start to look over opposite shoulders. So dropping your right shoulder in, looking over the left. Dropping that left shoulder in, looking over the right. Lifting back up, finding a little bit of extension through the spine, and then releasing back down. Hands come to plant underneath the shoulders, and then we're gonna move back into our tabletop position. Now this time we're gonna find an opposite than we did the first time. So on your inhale, find your cat pose, rounding your back, tucking your chin in towards your chest. And on your inhale, find cow pose, dropping the belly and lifting the gaze. Find this 3 more times. And just notice how it feels different to do it in the opposite way than maybe what we're used to. Noticing what it's like to have the opposite breath paired with the opposite movement. And then come back to your neutral spine, finding those kind of like fire hydrant kicks on the opposite side. So start to lift your left knee out towards the left. Kick that foot out towards the side. Tap your toes down towards the ground. Lift it back up, bend the knee, release it back down towards the mat. Twice more, lift the knee, kick out, tap down, lift up, bend the knee, release. Once more, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, release. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, finding your down dog once again. Maybe if you found movement the first time, you find stillness this time. If you found stillness the first time, maybe you find movement, and just notice the difference between the two. As you're ready, put a bend in your knees and your gaze towards your hands, and as you exhale, slowly make your way towards the top of the mat, finding that ragdoll pose once again. Let your head really hang heavy, swaying around, maybe like an elephant trunk. Just again, finding any sort of movement as we continue to warm up the body. Start to release your hands down towards the mat. Inhale, find a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your arms nice and high. Tadasana, lifting your ribs up and away from your hips. Exhale, fold forward, diving right back down. Inhale, find a halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, finding your plank. Option to always drop your knees, or maybe you start to lower like one big plank of wood, bringing your chest and your belly all the way towards the ground. Bring your arms out wide once again. Untuck your toes, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat. Lift that chest up. Dropping the left shoulder in, looking over the right. Lifting back up, dropping the right shoulder, looking over the left. Look one more time forward, finding extension through the spine, and then release back down. Hands come to frame underneath the ribs. Tuck your toes and then come back up towards your down dog, whether that's through tabletop or lifting straight up to your down dog. We're gonna find 3 rounds of a sun A, moving 1 breath to 1 movement. So you can always drop into your cobra, or you can find your up dog, which I'll cue, but wherever you are, take an inhale and bend your knees. And as you exhale, travel towards the top of your mat, walking, stepping, or hopping. Inhale to a halfway lift when you arrive. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, Tadasana, sweeping your arms nice and high. Exhale, fold forward, driving it right back down. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, finding plank pose. Exhale, lower halfway down. Inhale, draw your chest forward, flipping to the tops of your feet, finding up dog. Exhale, roll back over your feet, finding down dog. Inhale, put a bend in your knees and your gaze towards your hands. Exhale, make your way towards the top of the mat. Inhale to a halfway lift when you arrive. Exhale, fold it forward, letting it go. Inhale, sweep nice and high. And then your exhale, sweep right back down nice and low. Inhale, finds a halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, moving through your vinyasa, finding your chaturanga and your up dog, or maybe finding your knees down in a cobra. 1 more round. Inhale, put a bend in your knees and your gaze towards your hands. Travel towards the top of your mat on your exhale. Inhale, finds a halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep nice and high. Really find a lift And then exhale, dive it right back down, letting it go. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, finding your version of a high to low plank. Inhaling to your up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog, meeting here. Take a nice deep breath in and a nice deep breath out. Inhale, lift your right heel high, find this three-legged down dog. And then start to hug your knee into your chest and stepping through between your hands, pausing here in this low lunge. Start to step forward, bringing your left knee behind your right knee, and pause here, really lifting the heel up into the glute. And then start to kick your left toes out towards the outside of the right mat, and then sweep your arms all the way up so you're kind of in this dancing Shiva pose. Take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, find a curtsy lunge. So sweep your arms back, lowering your chest, bringing it parallel to the mat as you bend into your front knees. Inhale, we're going to find a one-legged Tadasana. So start to bring your left knee up towards your chest as your arms sweep overhead. Flex your toes just like we did in the beginning. And then again, see if you can find this neutral pelvis. So maybe you drop that left knee down a little bit. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, release that left foot down towards the mat and sink back, finding this chair pose. So belly is pulling in, weight is into the heels. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, fold forward, bringing your hands towards the mat. Step the left foot back, finding that low lunge once again. Left hand plants as the right arm sweeps up towards the sky, finding a low lunge twist. Press back through that back heel. Front knee is tracking out towards the pinky toe edge. We're finding a nice twist through that chest, opening through the heart space. Take a deep breath in. Start to bring your right forearm to the top of your right thigh. Spin your back heel down and then open it up, finding side angle towards the left. Arm can be straight up towards the sky, or maybe you start to extend it overhead, dropping the bicep in line with the ear. Press down through the pinky toe edge of the back foot. And then drop your awareness into your front forearm. So really start to connect into the forearm and the thigh by creating a little bit of tension, by trying to make the two meet. And then see if you can relax. Let's do that one more time. Bring the forearm into the thigh, thigh into the forearm. Notice what starts to get activated in the muscles. And then relax and notice how that feels different. Take a deep inhale. And on your exhale, find peaceful triangle. So straighten through that front leg. Back arm sweeps all the way towards the back thigh. Front arm sweeps up towards the sky. Find a length through the whole right side of the body. Take a deep breath in here. And on your exhale, hands come to windmill, framing the front of your foot, finding a bend in that front knee, spinning onto the back toes. Step back, finding your plank pose, and then move through your chaturanga, finding your up dog or your cobra, meeting back and down dog. We're going to find the left side, moving nice and slow this first round. So inhale, find that left leg high. Exhale, step it up into your chest, and then place it between your legs, finding this low lunge here. Step forward, bringing your right knee to the back of the left. Hug your heel up into your glute. And then step your toes to the outside of the left side of your mat. Inhale, sweep your arms nice and high, finding this cross-legged Tadasana. Exhale, find this curtsy lunge. So sweeping your arms back, lowering your chest, bringing it parallel to the ground and finding a bend into the knees. Inhale, find that one-legged Tadasana, sweeping the right leg up as the arms extend overhead. Again, flexing the toes back towards the shin. Drop that right hip down, keeping it nice and square. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, release that foot down towards the mat, finding a chair pose here. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, release, folding forward. Step that right foot back, finding that low lunge once again. Right hand plants as the left hand sweeps up towards the sky, finding this open twist. Press back through that back heel, pull that lower belly in, and then see if you can draw that top shoulder back just a little bit more, finding a little bit more of a twist here. Take a nice deep breath in, nice deep breath out. Start to bring that top forearm to the top of your thigh, spin the back heel down, and then open it up, finding side angle to the opposite side. Again, arm can be straight up towards the sky, or maybe you sweep it back and down and then settling that bicep up over the ear. Continue to draw that top shoulder back, pinky toe edges into the mat. And then we're gonna find that activation again. So start to really press your forearm into the thigh into the forearm, and then release it. Forearm into the thigh into the forearm, and release it. Just noticing the difference between the two. Take a nice deep inhale here. And on your exhale, peaceful triangle, straightening through that front leg, sweeping the back arm down, front arm up. Feeling this nice expansion through the left side of the body. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, start to release the hands back down, framing the front foot, bending into that front knee, spinning onto the back toes, stepping back, finding your high to low plank. Inhaling to your back bend. Exhale to your down dog. So we're going to add on and move just a little bit quicker. So inhale, lift that right heel high. Exhale, hug it up into your chest, and then step it through, finding that low lunge. Stepping forward, bring the left knee to the back of the right knee. Kick those toes down, and on your inhale, sweep your arms nice and high, finding Tadasana. Exhale, curtsy lunge, trying to bend into the knee, sweeping your arms back. Chest comes parallel towards the mat. Inhale, we find that one-legged Tadasana. From here, maybe you start to just lower your toes down towards the mat as you sink into kind of this awkward chair. Start to release your hands down, stepping your left foot back, and maybe you open straight up into that low lunge twist. From here, start to flip your palm to face the back of your space, and then maybe you let it drape over the back, tucking into that back hip crease, and then see if you can roll that top shoulder back just a little bit more, really finding more of a twist as you sink into that hip. Option to stay right here, or maybe you extend your arm back up, flip your palm back, and then release it so your forearm comes to the top of the thigh. Start to spin that back heel down, opening up, finding that side angle once again. Finding a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Option to stay here. Maybe you flip that top palm to face away from you, and then drape it around your low back the opposite direction that we just did, hooking it into the hip crease. Take a nice deep breath in, and on your exhale, start to lift up, finding that peaceful triangle with kind of this half bind. Feel that breath expand into the right side of the body. Notice how it feels different when we've got the hand hooked. Take a nice deep breath in, and on your exhale, we're going to find Skandasana towards the right. So start to spin your right toes up towards the front. Start to bend into that front knee as you sink your hips back. Hands can be at heart center. You can bring your hands towards the mat. Maybe you take your elbow and start to open up that right hip just a little bit. Taking this nice and slow. Take a nice deep breath in. And on your exhale, we're going to move through center, and we're going to go off towards the left. So bending into that left knee, opening up through that left hip, sinking your hips back. Weight is in your heels. Really just finding a nice opening through the hips here. And then again, take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, walk your hands back off towards the right. Maybe you sink in just a little bit more this time. Opposite foot can be flat on the ground, or maybe your toes start to pop up. Take a nice deep breath in. And on your exhale, start to walk your hands to frame your front foot, spinning both toes to face the front of your mat. Planting your hands, stepping back, finding plank, moving through your version of a vinyasa, meaning back and down dog for the left side. Inhale, lift that left heel high. Exhale, hug it up into your chest, and then step it through. Start to draw the right knee to the back of the left knee. Kick those toes out, and on your inhale, lift up, finding this cross-legged Tadasana. Exhale, curtsy lunge, sweeping the arms back, lowering the chest, bending into your knees. Inhale, find that one-legged Tadasana. Right knee pulls up into the chest. Once again, as you sink into your chair, maybe you just bring the toes towards the ground. So really finding kind of this awkward chair pose. Release your hands down towards the ground, step back with that right foot, open straight up into that low lunge twist. So really starting to extend up with the hand as we ground down with the opposite into the mat. You can stay right here. Maybe you start to flip your palm and then drape your arm to the back as you hug your hands into that hip crease, and then roll that top shoulder back. Continue to press back through the heel. Option to stay here for a little bit longer, or maybe you start to extend that arm back up. Flip the palm towards the front of your space. Release the forearm back to the top of the thigh. Spin that back heel down, opening up, finding that side angle once again. Continue to draw that top shoulder back, pressing down through the pinky toe edge, finding nice activation between the forearm and the thigh. Option to stay here or flip the palm towards the back of your space and then drape it to your low back just like we did on the opposite side. And see if you can really draw that top shoulder back, finding this nice opening through the heart space. Option to stay right here with this half bind. Take a nice deep breath in. And on your exhale, start to straighten your leg, finding that peaceful triangle once again. Really feel some expansion through the left side of the body. Notice how it feels different when we have this half bind. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, we're going to find Skandasana off towards the left. So spinning your left toes in just a little bit, sinking into that front hip. Weight goes back. Right foot can be down, or maybe you start to float those toes up. Just continuing to breathe here. Again, taking it nice and slow. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, walk it through center, and then Skandasana off towards the right. Maybe you start to sink in just a little bit more as we've got our second round. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, Skandasana off towards the left once again. Finding whatever depth feels good to you. And then start to walk your hands to frame your front foot, spinning both toes to face the front of your mat. Plant your hands, step back, finding your plank pose, and then move through your vinyasa if you want it. Always remembering that if this doesn't feel good, completely skip it. This is your practice. So we're going to find this again, moving a little bit quicker, just adding on a little bit. So inhale, lift that right heel high. Exhale, draw it up into your chest, and then step it through. Draw that left knee to the back of the right knee, kick your feet out. Inhale, sweeping up into this cross-legged Tadasana. Exhale, curtsy lunge. Inhale, one-legged Tadasana, so bringing that knee up, and maybe you keep it lifted. As you start to sink down into your chair, really using the strength of that standing leg. Take a deep breath in here. And as you exhale, maybe you step straight back into your low lunge and find that twist right away. Option to stay here, find that half bind. Once again, continue to draw your chest open. Finding your breath. Release that hand back high if you have the half bind. Flip the palm back away. Drape your front forearm over your front thigh, spinning your back heel down, opening up, finding that side angle once again. Option to flip your palm, finding that half bind. Roll that top shoulder head back. Now you can stay right here. If you want to play with a full bind, you can. So your front forearm is going to reach underneath your front thigh. And then we're going to flip the palm just like we've been doing. And you're going to try and get your right hand and your left hand to just move towards each other. So that doesn't mean that you necessarily meet. Maybe it does. But wherever you are, continue to sink into that front hip and roll that top shoulder open. Release the bind if you have one. And then start to meet back into that peaceful triangle once again, straightening through that front leg, extending that arm nice and high. Really find the expansion in that right side. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, release into that Skandasana over towards the right. Inhale here. Exhale, Skandasana over to the left. Inhale. Exhale, Skandasana over to the right and pause. So maybe you sink all the way down. So maybe your left toes start to float up. With your right hand, start to open the right knee and extend it out towards the corner as you open up with the left. So again, finding this kind of opening heart shape, twisting shape that we've been working with. Take a deep breath in here. And on your exhale, release your hand down towards the mat. Now this time we're going to walk our hands back to frame our left foot, but we're going to straighten both legs coming into this extended pyramid pose. So wherever you are, find a lift in your chest, really lengthening out the spine, and then release, folding forward. So just release into this pyramid pose. Continue to draw that left hip back in space so your right hip can move forward a little bit. Let your right heel really sink down towards the mat. And then think about really pressing the big toe edge of your front foot down into the mat. And just notice what is activated here. Let your head hang heavy. On your inhale, find a lift of your chest. Gaze goes towards the front of your mat. And on your exhale, you're going to find standing split. So walk your hands out in front as you lift that back foot up. All 5 toes are pointing straight down towards the ground as we continue to fold in towards our standing leg. Take a nice deep breath in. And on your exhale, cross your right foot to be behind your left foot the same way we've been doing this entire time. Inhale, sweep your arms nice and high, finding Tadasana. And on your exhale, you're going to draw your palms to heart center and you're going to unwind your legs so you're facing back towards the front of your space. Inhale, sweep your arms nice and high. Exhale, fold forward, letting it go. Walk your hands out towards a plank pose or to your down dog, finding a vinyasa if you want it, knowing we've got only one more side to go. Wherever you are in your down dog, take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, lift that left heel high. Exhale, hug it up into your chest and step it through. Right knee meets the back of the left knee. Kick the toes out. Inhale, sweep up nice and high. Exhale, fold, finding that curtsy lunge. Inhale, lifting up into that one-legged Tadasana. Maybe again, you keep it floated as you start to bend into that standing leg, finding kind of this floated chair variation. Take a deep breath in. And on your exhale, maybe you step straight back, finding that low lunge twist here. Start to flip your palm, draping it towards the back, really opening up through that chest, sinking down into that hip. Lift your arm back up, spinning that palm back forward. Release your forearm to the top of your thigh. Spin the back heel down, sinking up into that side angle. Option again to work with the half bind or the full bind. So start to flip your palm to face away. Let your hand drape towards the back. And then your front hand, if you want to play around with this bind, you're going to start to flip your palm so it's facing away again, the same way we've been doing this entire time, and start to reach it underneath that front thigh. And then again, you're just working to have the two meet, so maybe they don't even touch. That's totally cool. We're just working with trying to find a little bit of a different shape, sink down into that front hip as you continue to roll that top shoulder up. Once you're done playing, release that bind, release your arms long, take a nice inhale, and then your exhale, meet back into your peaceful triangle. Take a nice deep breath in, and on your exhale, to Skandasana off towards the left. Inhale here, exhale, Skandasana off towards the right. Once more, inhale, and as you exhale, Skandasana off to the left, pausing here. Start to bring your left elbow into your left knee, opening it up, sweep your hand out towards the ground as you sweep that right hand nice and high, finding this twist. Take a nice deep breath in, deep breath out. Release your hands down towards the mat. Start to walk your hands back towards the back of your mat, spinning both toes forward so both hands are framing your front foot. Inhale, find a lift of your chest. Pull that right hip back in space, and then fold forward on your exhale, coming into this extended pyramid. Start to drop that back heel down towards the mat. Bring the big toe edge of your front foot, really grounding it in. Just notice how this changes any activation in any muscles. Take a nice deep breath in. And on your exhale, start to launch up, finding that standing split. Hands come out in front. Left leg reaches up nice and high. All 5 toes are pointing down and flexing back towards the shins, the same way we've been doing all day. And then just let yourself fold forward. Inhale, find a halfway lift. Exhale, release your left foot behind the right, finding that crossing once again. Inhale, sweep your arms nice and high, finding your Tadasana. Exhale, unwind your legs, bringing your palms to heart center. Inhale, sweep your arms nice and high. Exhale, fold forward. Option to walk out to a plank, moving through your last vinyasa of class. Or maybe you move right back to your down dog, knowing that we're going to start to slow it down. Either way, our meeting point is in our down dog. Take a nice deep breath in. Nice deep breath out. Inhale, lift that right heel high. Exhale, start to draw your right knee over towards your left wrist. And then bring your shin down towards the mat. Hips release down into the mat as you come into kind of this wide-legged forward fold, wide-legged stretch. Start to bring your sole of your right foot in towards the left. Maybe you adjust on the mat as you need to. Start to bring your shoulders and square them over your left knee. Left hand places behind the left hip. Right hand comes to the outside of the left thigh. Inhale, find length through the spine. And exhale, find a really gentle twist. So notice how it feels when maybe we don't twist as far as we normally do. Notice what it's like to settle into more of a gentle posture as opposed to always finding our depth. As you're here, start to slow down your breath as we start to move into cooling down from our practice. From here, start to slide your right hand down towards the outer edge of the left foot, ankle, or calf. Inhale, find length once again. And as you exhale, just start to fold in. So bringing your nose down towards your left leg. And then again, see if you can find some gentleness here. So maybe you don't fold as far as you can. Maybe you reach for your ankle instead of your foot. Just noticing the difference from kind of this strong, powerful flow to a more gentle, soothing stretch. And it's okay if that's difficult to do. Just notice what arises for you in this moment. See if you can observe it, and then just let it float on by. Take another deep inhale and a deep exhale. Inhale, start to lift back up, releasing your hands, bringing them on either side of your hips, and then start to tuck your left foot. So you're bringing the heel towards the glute, and you're coming into kind of this 90-90 stance. And then you're going to bring both hands to the outside of your right leg and your right hip. Once again, inhale, find length. And on your exhale, carve your nose to look over your left shoulder. And pausing right before you get to your edge. And then see if you can settle in here.
Drinking a coffee. Was it more of a winter thing for you? So funny. Watching the progression of coffee. People start drinking it.
Start to release, carving your nose back so it's in the center of your chest. Bring your left hand to the outside of your left hip, and then just start to windshield wiper back and forth, releasing that side, releasing your hips, releasing your low back.
Yep.
And then from here, you're going to find a down dog, and it's going to be a little goofy because it's going to be probably towards the back of your mat, but you're going to walk your hands out in front. Start to come to a tabletop position, tuck your toes and lift your hips up into that down dog once again, wherever that is for you. Take a nice deep breath in, nice deep breath out. Inhale, lift that left heel nice and high. Exhale, draw that left knee in towards your right wrist. Release the shin down towards the mat, release your hips down towards the mat, and then your right leg comes last. Start to tuck the sole of your left foot into the inner edge of the right thigh. Adjust as you need to. Right hand is going to come to the outside of the right hip. Left hand is going to come to the outside of the right thigh. Start to square off with your chest, finding a length on your inhale. And then on your exhale, just find a nice gentle twist. Once again, finding just gentleness and softness. Really focusing in on slowing down your breath. And then as you're ready, start to slide your left hand down towards the right foot. Maybe it only goes towards the calf, the ankle, or the foot. Wherever you are, inhale, finding length through the spine. And then exhale, fold forward, letting it go. And then as you settle in here, see if you can be really mindful. So noticing the feeling of the breath, the cooling down and the stretch through the right leg. Knowing that if your mind wanders, you can always bring it back to the breath or any sensation that's present in the body. On average, the brain wanders about every 8 seconds, and we actually get a lot of benefit in noticing when it's wandered away and bringing it back. Take a nice deep breath in and a nice deep breath out. Inhale, lift your chest back up. And as you exhale, release your hands to either side of your hips. Start to bend that right knee, drawing the heel in towards the glute, finding that 90-90 on this side. Start to bring both hands to the outside of the left leg. Inhale, find length through the spine. And on your exhale, start to carve your nose to look over that right shoulder. Pausing wherever feels good for you. And then connect right back into that anchor of your breath. Slowly start to unwind. Bring both hands to the outside of your hips. And then once again, just windshield wiper the legs back and forth. Finding this last kind of gentle, subtle movement, releasing the hips, releasing the low back. And then in whatever way feels good to you, we're going to come to lie on our back. So if there's any last final movement that you need, any last final shapes or posture, give yourself permission to find it now. Otherwise, make your way on towards your mat, letting your spine just kind of neutralize as it finds this new shape. And then setting up for your final resting position. And find whatever feels good for you. So it could be a traditional Shavasana, letting your legs go out long, toes roll away. Maybe you find a Supta Baddha Konasana, bringing the soles of the feet together, letting the hips open wide. Maybe it's just bent knees with the soles of your feet rooted down firmly into the mat. Knees content in towards each other. Just be nice and separate. Just find whatever feels good to you. And start to give yourself permission to rest. Knowing that when it is time, I will guide you back out. Knowing that if your mind wanders, you can always bring it back to any sensation that's present in the body. Maybe finding those spots that feel good. Using your inhales and your exhales. to extend that feeling out. Wherever you are, allow yourself to just be, giving yourself permission to not do anymore. Before you start to bring movement back into the body, bring your attention back into your breath. Notice if it feels different from how your breath was when you started today's practice. Notice how it feels. Notice the quality of the breath, the temperature of the breath, its own natural rhythm. Let your awareness just settle in the breath here for a moment. And as you continue to breathe in and out, just start to bring any sort of movements that feel good to you back into the body. Maybe that's a wiggle of the fingers and the toes, rolling the ankles and the wrists, rocking the head from side to side. Or maybe that's not finding any movement at all just yet. And whenever you're ready in your own time, start to roll off to whichever side feels good to you this morning, finding a fetal position, hugging the knees up into the chest, and pausing here for just a moment. And once again, allow yourself to just settle in this feeling of what feels good. Sending gratitude for your body that just took you on a journey for the last hour. Sending gratitude for your breath, for being the anchor throughout the entire practice. And then as you're ready, starting to come towards a cross-legged seated position. Maybe your eyes stay closed or nice and soft. Bringing your palms to your heart center. Settling in here for just a moment. And then thinking about what good do you want to take with you as you move into the rest of your day? What good do you want to bring with you as you move into the rest of your weekend? As you inhale, allow that to fill you up. And as you exhale, allow that to extend out. I thank you for practicing with me. Be kind to yourself and others. Namaste.